Tracing Latencies is an exhibition responding to our times. It invites the audience to pause, contemplate, and reimagine the conditional ways we relate to our increasingly digitalized urban environments as well as to each other. This exhibition brings together a mixed array of artists and creative practitioners, as well as entangles a diversity of multivarious processes and voices across the physical and digital realms. An exhibition has many entry points. This exhibition takes the concept of latency as its starting point. Latency is often thought of as something to be overcome, where delay is often considered as bad or negative. However, is latency always a bad thing? Together, Tracing Latencies transforms this space, the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 into a pulsating environment that becomes alive because of art making and creative play. Let us start with 𝗙𝗃𝗃𝗂𝗍's work. 𝗙𝗃 is an artist, composer, and musician who experiments with text and music. For this show, he is presenting two works that are part of his 𝗘𝗅𝗵𝗶𝗁𝗂 series. Entitled 𝗙𝗙𝗂𝗍𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗙, which is What You See is What You Need to Know. The first artwork is a short film on Google Translation's gender bias. Cited Closely is a second work which invites the audience in by being an interactive multi-channel work comprising a mechanical keyboard with 𝗘𝗅𝗵𝗶𝗁𝗂 program installed. 𝗘𝗅𝗵𝗶𝗁𝗂 is an encryption patch which encrypts plain text into a unique combination of 𝗘𝗍𝗂𝗶 ciphertext and MIDI values. This work is meant to prompt the audience to think about his, her, or their human relationship with machines by framing encryption as a process of intimacy or being intimate. Through your interaction by imputing plain text into the text box there, which then encrypts each character of your plain text into both 𝗘𝗍𝗂𝗶 ciphertext as well as a unique MIDI value which triggers a sample of a library of synthesized sounds. Next, we have How Long is a Piece of String by Mouse Click Click, which is an emerging interdisciplinary art collective consisting of Joanne Lim, Lau Zixuan, and Billy Singh. This work reflects on the invisible and oftentimes under-noticed collection of data in our contemporary everyday lives. In today's digital age, our information is constantly being collected and monitored. Apart from the main printers, there is also a video work to prompt audiences to think about the question of what power and responsibility do ourselves as well as corporations and governmental institutions have over our data, especially in terms of data protection, collection, retention, usage, and destruction. This work also invites audiences back into the space on the last day to physically destroy the prints together using the shredder in the gallery space. Here, we have Irene Agrivina's installation called Transpolutan. Irene's inspiration comes from nature. Sometimes humans forget that we share this planet with other species and entities that are beneficial and essential for our survival. The installation shows the generation and collection of the biodata of air pollution generated from live data pollution from two cities, Singapore and Jakarta. The two levels of data collected and presented here shows how polluted the air is because of human civilization in contrast to how other entities, namely the ones in the glass jars that contain microbes and different plant species, are able to live in harmony without air pollution. Overall, the aim of this artwork is to raise awareness about the importance of taking care of our ecosystem and to give more to nature rather than to take or destroy it. Another artwork that plays with the idea of pollution is Street Lamp numbered 107101, created by 𝗙𝗟𝗄, an art and technology studio and collective from Singapore. This is a responsive light installation that speaks to the heavy light pollution in Singapore, which houses at least 107,101 street lamps. This is a whimsical and interactive piece that plays not only on our expectations on light, but also visibility, especially in relation to our personal and communal senses of safety, security, privacy and time. At this point, I invite the audience to take a step and look back in the gallery. Do you notice anything unusual? Here we have a work 𝗙𝗏𝗵𝗶𝗯𝗶𝗁 by dance artist 𝗘𝘅𝗵𝗶𝗯𝗶𝗁 Sabdu and technical designer Marissa Tang. This work is part of their ongoing exploration of space, surveillance, intimacy, and gaze. Installed within the gallery space, 𝗙𝗏𝗵𝗶𝗯𝗶 actually comprises of several CCTV surveillance cameras, some operational, and some dummies. The audience is invited into an intimate enclosed space where they will watch a live CCTV feed of themselves interacting and moving through the gallery space, alongside a pre-recorded feed of a dancer moving about and interacting with the artworks. In watching the two CCTV feeds side by side, the audience is then prompted to question his, her, or their own gaze while being looked at and looking at another. Just as we might not notice the CCTVs and how we are being watched in our everyday lives, we also oftentimes take for granted the technologies that we have grown to rely on in our everyday lives and our domestic households. An installation that aims to prompt us to critically reconsider the role of domestic technologies is BTO, Built to Owner, Diary Entries by Inanimate Objects. 𝗘𝘅𝗵𝗶𝗃 presents a collection of short poems paired with illustrations. Together, this collection revolves around the relationships between 4 smart household items and their respective owners. Sited befittingly in the more liminal space of the gallery, this work aims to prompt the audience to question our reliance on technology as everyday companions and even as sources of emotional support. Apart from presenting artworks that provoke your senses and thoughts about our increasingly digitalized environments, this group show also includes 2 installations which are intended to invite the audience to slow down, step back, take a seat and contemplate what you have just seen. Here we have Green Agora by 𝗘𝘅𝗵𝗶𝗯𝗶𝗁, an architect and urbanist working at the intersections of design, planning and advocacy. Green Agora is a pavilion conceived for community dialogue on nature, food, and farming. It constitutes a structural framework of patented aluminium modules which were developed by the shelter company. While initially starkly barren, plant creepers gradually engulfed parts of the pavilion over 9 months, embedding the structure sensitively within the natural environment. What's unique about this presentation is that we tried to bring this once live structure that coexisted with nature into a gallery setting. The installation includes documentation of the artwork within the original site, as well as glimpses of the construction process. We also brought in some of the original furniture that was once part of the structure, and the audience is invited to sit and be at one with both this installation as well as the overall gallery space. Finally, the exhibition ends with Fallen Cycle, a collaborative work between 2 artists, Son and Tien, who are 2 very thoughtful and meditative artists originally from Bangkok, Thailand. Fallen Cycle paper is a text-based work that explores the poetics of translation and transition. It centers on a haiku written by a Zen monk in 1789. His haiku is carved out from a single piece of recycled paper, leaving holes where the letters used to be. The remnant letters are then rearranged to form another text, of which the similar elements take on a new meaning with their distinct compositions. Accompanying these 2 texts are ceramic pieces resembling dried fallen leaves scattered across the gallery floor. Referencing the cyclical nature of life, the work bridges the external environment of the natural world and the gallery space. Together, this work explores the nature of changes in many layers, especially the transition between life and death that goes in samsara cycle in some beliefs, but also the natural cycle of organic and inorganic matters, and inside and outside. Just as an exhibition has many entry points, it also has many exit points. But I do hope that this exhibition remains unfinished and merely as a starting point that aims to foreground art making and creative practice as essential to our urban conditions.